India, Birmingham, July 6th, Sri Lanka versus India, Leeds. Virat will be leading the men in blue for the first time in a World Cup as he eyes his first World Cup title as a captain. Kohli will be playing his third World Cup. He has already been a part of the showpiece event twice in 2011 and 2015. In this edition of World Cup, ICC had made some changes in the format as the round-robin league will be making a comeback after the 1992 World Cup. Under the format, each team will contest in 9 group games and the top 4 teams will advance to the knockouts or the semi-finals. Sports Desk, DD News.
And the Indian cricket team captain Virat Kohli and the head coach Ravi Shastri interacted with the media in Mumbai before their departure for the ICC World Cup in England and Wales. And Kohli believes that in a high-stakes tournament like the World Cup, handling pressure is much more important than adapting to the conditions.
Virat Kohli, the Indian skipper, and head coach Ravi Shastri addressed the media ahead of Indian team's departure to participate in the Cricket World Cup that is slated to begin on May 30th in England and Wales. Although this will be the third World Cup for Virat Kohli, but it will be the first time he will be leading the team. Handling the pressure is the most important thing at the World Cup, stressed Virat Kohli ahead of India's pre-departure press interaction.
I think the only expectation we have is to play really good cricket, and that's been our focus. And that's why the results have followed in the last 2-3 years, as you said. So we feel we go into the World Cup feeling very balanced, very strong as a side, and if you saw the IPL as well, all the players that are in the squad were in great form and playing really well. I think handling pressure is the most important thing in the World Cup, and not necessarily the conditions. So yeah, from that point of view, it will be very helpful.
Coach Ravi Shastri meanwhile called on the players to strive for consistency and to play to their potential, which he said should ensure that the World Cup comes to India for a third time.
As far as this tournament is concerned, it's an opportunity. You know, if you look at this team, what they've done over those 5 years, you know, they've played brilliant cricket. And like Virat said, you know, it's about striving for that consistency and not playing any differently just because it's a World Cup. World Cup might be a stage, but that stage is to be enjoyed. So, you know, the most important thing is get out there and enjoy the World Cup. And if you play to potential, that cup might be here.
India play 2 official warm-up games against New Zealand on May 25th and against Bangladesh on May 28th before their campaign in the main tournament begins with a game against South Africa on June 5th. It's a tough start for the Indians, who then have fixtures lined up against Australia on June 9th and New Zealand on June 13th before the big one, India versus Pakistan, on June 16th. With Bureau Inputs, Sports Desk, TD News.
Well, after England, India is the second-ranked team in ODIs. And like the hosts, they are also one of the favourites for the upcoming World Cup. In fact, if not the favourite. And in 2015, they came into the tournament as the reigning champions. But they were knocked out in the semi-finals by the eventual champions, Australia. But this time, India are the favourites to lift this cup. But there are some problems that the men in blue might be facing in this mega event. Here are some of them.
The ICC World Cup 2019 is just around the corner. Cricket fans all over the world are getting excited about the event. The most prestigious ICC tournament will commence on the 30th of May. India will begin as favourites to lift the trophy. While the squad looks totally balanced, there are still some problems that the men in blue might face at the mega event. Lack of a genuine batsman at the number 4 spot. If we go back in the past, then Virat Kohli was India's number 4 batsman when India last won the World Cup in 2011. There is no doubt over Vijay Shankar's all-round abilities, but choosing him as your number 4 seems a bit questionable. More importantly, his performance in the IPL this year has been forgettable. Shankar has never played in England, nor has he any experience of playing at this spot. Yes, India has MS Dhoni, Dinesh Karthik and KL Rahul as backups for this position. But we can't ignore that Rahul and Karthik haven't enjoyed a good run of form in international cricket. If India would have chosen Rishabh Pant or Ambati Rayudu as the number 4, then they could have had a better structured batting lineup. Batsmen struggle against swing. When India last toured England, no player other than Virat Kohli looked comfortable against swing. In the 4th ODI between New Zealand and India, the men in blue were bundled out for 92 on a pitch where the ball was swinging. This clearly proves that there has been no relief for India's batsmen against swing even now. In overcast English conditions, the ball generally tends to move no matter what the nature of the pitch. KL Rahul, Shikhar Dhawan and MS Dhoni particularly look helpless. Therefore, Indian batsmen, especially openers, will need to stay well prepared to tackle such conditions. This is because the onus of the batting will mainly rely on the top three. And if they get out early like in the Champions Trophy final in 2017, then India lose half of the match there itself. Jadeja's ineffectiveness on flat decks. Over the past few years, England has proven to be a graveyard for finger spinners. Wrist spinners can turn the ball as they are not dependent on the nature of the pitch. But for finger spinners, assistance from the pitch is a must. We all know that Ravindra Jadeja bowls with comparatively higher speed than others and tries to fire in the line of the three stumps using many variations of pace and angles rather than spin. On flat turfs, the ball will generally come onto the bat properly and there would be no spin. This might make him relatively ineffective in England. Although his place in the playing 11 looks unlikely, he might be roped in if any injury prevails. Recent IPL form of a few players. Although IPL wasn't a parameter for selection, it can certainly be a parameter for judging the form of the players. And shockingly, performances of numerous players have been forgettable. Vijay Shankar, who's been chosen as India's number 4, has had a horrendous season so far. The case has been same for India's best swing bowler, Bhuvneshwar Kumar. He will bear the onus of taking early wickets, and if he's not able to do so, it will play a spoil sport for India's hopes of winning the World Cup. Players like Kuldeep Yadav, Dinesh Karthik and Kedar Jadhav have also disappointed. Rohit Sharma has also been in an indifferent form considering his stature. Every player will play an important role in India's campaign, and the poor form of any of these will put the team one step behind. Sports Desk, DD News.
And Dhoni has cemented his place as a legend in the annals of Indian cricket, world cricket in fact. As captain, he has won every ICC trophy. Now nearing the end of his career, Dhoni would surely like to make a statement. Here we look at the reasons why MS Dhoni is super important for the team in 2019 as well.
Leaving out a couple who have not been amongst the runs or wickets.
Dhoni will play his 4th World Cup for his country in England and Wales. At 37, Mahendra Singh Dhoni is still India's go-to man in tense situations. His gloves still work magic behind the stumps, and his hands still conjure magic with a bat. Even current captain Virat Kohli looks up to him for inspiration. Let's look at 3 reasons why MS Dhoni will be India's most important asset going into the 2019 World Cup. Experience. The amount of experience that Dhoni brings to the table is invaluable. The legendary Indian cricketer has featured in a staggering 341 ODIs for his country and has scored 10,500 runs at a stunning average of 50.72. Kohli still leaves it to Dhoni to make the crucial bowling changes and also to set the field in a tense situation. Bowlers are often seen telling that it was Dhoni who told him to bowl in a particular way, fetching the bowler a wicket. The calmness that Dhoni brings to the Indian dressing room and his vast amount of experience is invaluable. Wicket-keeping skills. Even if the batsman's foot is in the air, even for a fraction of a second, Dhoni has been known to whip the bails off in a flash. He still pounces and takes those half chances. Without any doubt, Dhoni is the best wicket-keeper in the world today. The legendary cricketer has effected a staggering 434 dismissals, which makes him the 3rd most successful wicket-keeper to have played the game, only behind Kumar Sangakkara and Adam Gilchrist. Dhoni is the only wicketkeeper in the history of ODI cricket to effect more than 100 stumpings. Finishing abilities. The ODI version of the game is yet to see a better finisher than Dhoni. Even if there are 20 runs required off the last over and MS Dhoni is still out there, the pressure is on the bowler. The kind of calmness with which Dhoni approaches the chase, combined with his ability to back himself and play the big shots, makes him one of the greatest finishers in ODI cricket history. Time and again, Dhoni has steered the team to victory in the course of his unparalleled career. With the form that he has struck in the ongoing IPL, his confidence will certainly be higher than before, and this could prove vital for India in scaling the mountains of runs that are expected in the 2019 edition of the ICC Cricket World Cup. Dhoni is the kind of man who can make his side win in any situation. The man who will never quit and without doubt will be a vital cog in the Indian lineup going into the 2019 World Cup. Sports Desk, DD News.
Flicks it in, but they'll run three, won't they? And that's victory to India. 2 ball.
Well, just having him around in the dressing room is obviously enough in a way. Moving on then, well, the South African core squad for the World Cup has a mixture of experienced and young players. Among them, among the 15 players, 7 players in fact have World Cup experience, and they are going to be crucial for South Africa in the tournament. Here, let's look at analysing South Africa's World Cup squad.
The 4-time Cricket World Cup semi-finalists, South Africa is desperate to finish their wait to lift the World Cup trophy in the upcoming edition. They are ready to begin the new World Cup journey under Faf du Plessis' captaincy. Before the new World Cup journey, here we are, analysing the World Cup squad. It is an experienced squad with du Plessis, Duminy, Steyn, Amla and Tahir playing their third World Cup and Miller and de Kock their second. The management has emphasised on playing an aggressive style of cricket influenced by the philosophy of head coach Otis Gibson. The selected seem well suited to carry forward their philosophy. After 2 years of trying different players to identify who to take to the World Cup, South Africa were left with deciding between Amla and Hendricks to open the innings alongside de Kock. Amla was selected owing to his experience in English conditions despite a poor run of form recently and a struggle for consistency going back to last year. Amla, de Kock, du Plessis, Miller, Van der Dussen and Duminy form the batting core of the team, with all of them guaranteed to play unless injury strikes. Hayden Markram has been selected as backup batsman following his domestic one-day form with 542 runs in 5 innings in the recent one-day tournament in South Africa. David Miller is also the designated backup wicket-keeping option, with de Kock playing as the primary wicket-keeper. Miller played as wicket-keeper during the recent one-day and T20 series against Sri Lanka, and his success in that position meant that Henrik Klaasen was not considered. Andil Pelukvayu are the only all-rounders in the squad, with Pelukvayu playing as the main all-rounder and Pretorius playing either as replacement or, if conditions require, an additional bowler. It is their bowling that gives them an edge over their opponents. Dale Steyn, Lungi Ngidi and Kagiso Rabada are the main post bowlers, all capable of bowling at extreme pace and swinging the ball. Unless conditions necessitate an additional spinner, all 3 of them are set to play in every match. Andrich has been selected as pace bowling backup. Imran Tahir is the main spin bowling option and will constantly be looking for wickets during the middle overs. Tabraiz Shamsi has been selected as the second spinner, with JP Duminy on hand to bowl a few overs of off spin if needed. Sports Desk, DD News.
The Committee of Administrators announced that the much-awaited elections of the BCCI will be held on October 22. BCCI announced the election dates after due consultation with the Supreme Court appointed amicus curiae, P.S. Narasimha. The COA was appointed by the Supreme Court in January of 2017 to oversee the sweeping reforms recommended by the Lodha panel. Moving on to hockey now, the Indian women's hockey team came from a goal down to eke out a 2-1 win over South Korea in the second game to take an unassailable 2-0 lead in their 3-match series in Jinchuan, which is in South Korea, on Wednesday. The Indians had earlier defeated the South Koreans by an identical margin in the opening game of the series. The final match of the series, will be played on Friday. On Wednesday, the skipper, Rani Rampal, in the 37th minute and Navjot Kaur in the 50th minute scored for India after Lee Xingju gave South Korea the lead in the 19th minute through a field strike. The match started on a fast-paced note, and both India and South Korea traded penalty corners in the first quarter, but the goalkeepers of both the teams made some fine saves to keep up a clean slate. And India crashed out of the Sudirman Cup in the mixed team badminton championships on Wednesday, losing 0-5 to China in the second and final group match in Nanning in China. After going down 2-3 to Malaysia in the opening group match, India needed an extraordinary effort to get across the 10-tier champions, but the shuttlers yet again produced a below-par performance in this lopsided contest. In Shrikant's absence, Samir fought for an hour and 11 minutes in the men's singles tie before losing 17-21, 20-22 against the Olympic champion Chen Long. As India slumped to a 0-2 deficit, Saina Nehwal then went down 12-21, 17-21 to All England champion Chen Yufei in a 33-minute women's singles match. And the world number 3 women's doubles player Chen Qingchen and Jia Yifan beat Ashwini Ponnappa and Siki 21-12 and 21-15 as India sunk without a trace. Well, India had reached the quarterfinals in the 2011 and 2017 editions of the Sudirman Cup. Football news: Lionel Messi and Sergio Aguero were named in Argentina's squad for the 2019 Copa America on Tuesday, although there was no place for Inter Milan striker Mauro Icardi. Lionel Messi and Sergio Aguero were named in Argentina's squad for the 2019 Copa America on Tuesday. As we said, there was no place for Icardi, and Scaloni is blessed with high-class attacking options, with Paulo Dybala and Lautaro Martinez also among the forward options. In the previous 2 Copa America tournaments, Argentina had made it to the final against Chile, only to lose on penalty shootouts on both occasions. The most recent was in 2016, and the signs are that Argentina have regressed significantly since then as they toiled at the World Cup. While there's no doubting the talent in the squad, the team has failed to work as a unit in recent years, as evidenced by the 3-1 loss to Venezuela in March. Argentina's arch rivals, Brazil, are the host nation of the tournament. It gets underway on the 14th of June. The Liverpool striker Roberto Firmino is on course to be fit for the Champions League final against Tottenham after returning to training during the club's break in Marbella. Firmino missed Liverpool's last 3 Premier League matches due to a thigh injury, but the Brazil international was able to take part in the first session of the squad's pre-final training camp on Tuesday, putting him in the running to face Tottenham in Madrid on June 1. Firmino was the first player to arrive on the south coast of Spain for some individual sessions with strength and rehabilitation staff, having fallen just short in the Premier League title race. Jurgen Klopp's 26-man group are spending 6 days in Marbella before returning to England to finalize preparations for their attempt to win Liverpool's 6th European Cup. Manchester City forward Raheem Sterling said that the only way racism will be overcome in sports is if serious penalties are handed out to the...
Came to me with an idea, but I didn't agree with the idea. It was a Premier League, a social media block out. And I just said to him, I simply don't agree with what you want to put out. It's a social media post. It's going to happen for 1 day, and by 2 days' time, it's all forgotten about. Also, to kick it out, do a lot in England as well. A few times they get us to wear a T-shirt a year, but again, it's not enough. There needs to be harder punishment, and I think the harder punishments need to be, teams getting deducted, teams getting kicked out, because this is when people start taking it serious. These stories.
Real Madrid's Germany midfielder Toni Kroos has renewed his contract until the end of 22-23 season, and the 29-year-old Kroos was in fact expected to leave the Santiago Bernabeu according to the Spanish media, but he has instead extended his stay for another 4 years. Kroos signed for the club from Bayern Munich in 2014 and has made 233 appearances, winning 11 trophies. Kroos said that he wants to end his career at Real Madrid.
Of course, if I extend my contract for 4 years and I am 29 years old, the idea is to end my career here. My idea has not changed. I don't see myself playing at 38. I will take a decision when the time comes, but my idea is that this is my last long contract extension. Not a single player reached their top level as they did in previous seasons. When this happens with so many players, it is difficult to succeed. I also have to say that we all are human beings. For me, this is normal after winning 3 Champions League. in a row. What is not normal is to win 3 Champions League in a row. I know that it was impossible, but we did it. The season was a bit disappointing for sure, and more if you are used to win things. If you are not used to it, it's like a normal season. The past years showed that we are used to winning big titles, and when a season like this comes, of course, you are disappointed.
Normal, después de 3 Champions.
Olivier Giroud has signed a new one-year contract with Chelsea to extend his stay at Stamford Bridge until the end of next season. The 32-year-old French striker has scored 17 goals in 62 appearances for Chelsea since joining from Arsenal in January of 2018. France international Giroud is Europa League's joint top scorer this season with 10 goals. He is the first Chelsea player to hit double figures for goals in a single season for European football. And Chelsea face Giroud's former club, that's Arsenal, in an all-England final, an all-English final. This will be May 29. The English club Manchester City celebrated their history-making domestic treble with a victory parade on Monday. Thousands of fans gathered on the streets of Manchester City centre to watch their footballing idols drive past in open-top buses parading the Premier League, the League Cup and the FA Cup trophies. So the likes of the Argentina striker Sergio Aguero, outgoing captain Vincent Kompany and David Silva were joined by the manager Pep Guardiola in raucous celebrations. Kompany, in fact, was given a rousing send-off by the City fans, and he said they gave him everything he had to the club. And he gave everything he had to the club. So he also left with a final mic drop moment, in fact. It was a mic drop moment which led to his teammates jumping around in celebration with the Belgian, who is leaving to join another club.
We are going to miss him a lot. I'm going to miss him, but I think it's an incredible way to say we're going to see us in the future, because he's coming back sooner or later. But it's the best way to say bye with this incredible season all together. It was a real captain.
The moment that ball against Leicester when top bins, I knew I was done. I couldn't do anything better. So, that goal went in and it felt right. It felt like this team is ready to achieve so much more. I've done everything I could. I've given everything I had. Everything. I've got nothing left. I've given everything.
Well, that's it in this edition of the Sports News. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.